For the first 3 generations of Pokemon, the Cool Trainers, also known as the Ace Trainers, were the strongest class of NPC trainers you could face throughout your Pokemon journey, other than the main characters like gym leaders of course. They had better AI, often had evolved Pokemon, and could even use items. They were the top dogs until Generation 4 when a new class of trainer was introduced, the Veteran Trainer class. The Veteran Trainer class is very similar to the Ace Trainers and are believed to be an evolution to the Expert Trainer class introduced in Gen 3. Like the Ace Trainers, they have smart AI and the ability to use items. They will also use high-leveled and usually fully evolved Pokemon. In this video, I will go through some of the best Veteran Trainers each game has to offer and find out which of these strong trainers are the toughest to face and determine which is the best in each game. So the first ever appearance of the Veteran Trainer was in Diamond and Pearl. The Expert Trainers they seem to be related to, at least in appearance, only ever show up in the Hoenn region, which I thought was a bit strange. They weren't very interesting, only having the Medicham and Makuhita line exclusively. Luckily, this class was reworked to have more team diversity. Ironically, the Veteran Trainer class in Gen 4 is against diversity as there is no female version of the Veteran Trainer. It's just this guy. And throughout the entire game, there are a total of 9 Veterans, none of them having more than 3 Pokemon. Emmanuel is one of 2 that have 2 Pokemon and is most likely the first Veteran Trainer you'll ever run into. He is unique though, as his fight is a double battle, but he doesn't have another veteran partner with him. He's found in the 7 Stars restaurant where every battle is a double battle. Emmanuel only has a level 23 Machop and a level 23 Bronzor, while his partner has 2 Bidoofs. Bronzor is a little annoying to fight I guess, but in terms of difficulty this fight isn't notable. Maybe if you struggle with double battles. Clayton is the other veteran with only 2 Pokemon, found in Victory Road, but this isn't a double battle. He has a level 47 Staraptor and a Hippowdon. 2 fully evolved Pokemon is impressive, and a Hippowdon is really strong for a second stage evolution. While the Pokemon are strong, it's still only 2 of them, and their levels aren't better than the other trainers in the area. If you're going to be the best veteran trainer, you gotta have at least 3 Pokemon to fight. Veteran Trainer Grant has some relatively low leveled Pokemon for a veteran trainer, as the highest he has is his Graveler at level 35. He also has a Staraptor at level 34. Staraptor is really popular with the veteran trainers in this game. And he has a level 33 Riolu. He's actually the only trainer in the entire game that uses a Riolu, so that's pretty cool. Brian has lower level Pokemon as well, but there's a twist to his fight that makes it much harder than it seems. Brian is found on Route 210, a route covered in fog and will make every fight a nightmare. His Pokemon are all level 26, which is really close to the levels of Crasher Wake's Pokemon, who you just fought to get here. The fact he's deeper in the route makes him much harder to fight as well. Weasel is a weak spot for his team, but a Girafarig is good at this point in the game as well as Machoke. Still, without the fog, most teams wouldn't miss a beat against him. I figured any veteran trainer in the postgame would have some pretty impressive teams to face, but they're actually very disappointing. Armaldo on Route 224 has a lead Staravia. Mind you, we just defeated a level 66 Garchomp to get here. Not even a Crobat, just a Golbat. Harlan is a double battle in Stark Mountain, and other than the fact that you're stuck with Buck and his stupid Claydol, this team shouldn't give you much trouble. The only veteran trainer with a really solid 3 Pokemon is Edgar, found in the middle of Victory Road. Not only does he have an annoying Tentacruel lead and a 3rd stage trait evolution in Golem, but he has a 3rd stage evolution of a starter, being Empoleon, which is not only cool to see, but is level 48, which is really high for the area, making Edgar the best veteran trainer in Diamond and Pearl. Pokemon Platinum, while only being an upgraded version of the previous games, actually has some pretty drastic changes to their teams. Grant from Orberg Gate keeps the exact same team, however. And Emmanuel from the 7 Stars restaurant only upgrades his Machop to a Machoke. Harlan, the double battle from Stark Mountain, trades in his entire team. Drifblim with Aftermath can definitely hurt, and his Shiftry can be a problem for your partner Bucky to deal with. While you're with Marley in the back half of Victory Road, you have to deal with a mixed battle that's also in the fog. Terrell has a Parasect, Rhydon, and Magmar. The lower accuracy makes this fight annoying, but Marley can easily handle Parasect, and Rhydon shouldn't be much trouble. The other thing that makes this fight easier to handle is the fact that Terrell's partner, Eddie, is just trash. Why are we fighting Mankeys after becoming champion? He does have an Infernape though, which is respectable. With some bad RNG in this fight, I could see it being a little problematic. There is a fight in this area, however, that is much worse, where both teams are scary to face, especially in a mixed battle. Veteran trainer Brendan and his partner Willie are loaded with great Pokemon. Brendan leads with Fortress, letting it set up with things like Stealth Rocks, which are even better in doubles. Again, Marley's Arcanine can take it out, but she needs to hit it through the fog and hopefully not target Willie's lead Heracross. Once you take out the Fortress, Brendan has a Gyarados in the back and will certainly leave you in a 2v1 situation in no time. or he'll send out his tanky Hippowdon, which is a huge pain to deal with in the fog. Meanwhile, Willie has a no-guard Machamp wailing on you, making things worse. Even though the assistance from Willie makes this a much harder fight, veteran Brandon still has a really solid team of his own. The best trainer from Diamond and Pearl, Edgar, actually has an even better team than before, replacing Tentacruel with Porygon Z and Golem with Tangrowth while still keeping his Empoleon. Even though this team is solid, Brendan is still the best veteran trainer in Pokemon Platinum. While I remember seeing some of these guys during my playthroughs, it wasn't until the next generation where I really respected the power they bring. Pokemon Black and White finally introduced the female veteran trainer and have greatly improved their teams, with them ranging from 1 all the way to a full team of 6. The first veteran trainer you could see is Ray on Route 18 after you receive Surf. His Pokemon are all level 35 and up and has a balanced team with water, fire, and grass Pokemon. Darmanitan is the Pokemon you'll have to watch out for the most, but it shouldn't be too difficult for most teams. The 8th gym has a bunch of ace trainers as well as a few veteran trainers. Kim is probably the best with her 2 fractures, but it's really nothing. Although Drayden himself isn't much stronger than her, although he does get a Haxorus. Victory Road after this surprisingly doesn't have a lot of veteran trainers, just 2. There's Tiffany with a Behem, Heatmore, and Lilligant, which is a diverse team but not really one that scares you at this point in the game. And there's Martel, who has a Gigalith and Electros. Only having 2 Pokemon, but them being 3rd stage evolutions makes things interesting. Electros having no weaknesses makes it hard to remove, and depending on how beat up you are at this point, Martel can be an annoying thorn in your side. Unlike Gen 4, some of the trainers in the postgame have appropriate levels and can compete and even exceed the levels of the Elite Four. Arlen is a trainer that's found in the big and small stadium court and can randomly appear on any day after beating the Elite Four. He has 4 Pokemon, all sitting in the mid 60s, 10 levels higher than the Ghetsis fight. So odds are you'll be pretty underleveled. Jolteon, Sandslash, Skarmory, and Tyranitar is a really strong lineup and can definitely take you out. He's very similar to another veteran trainer here, Suri. She also has Pokemon in the mid 60s and is a formidable opponent. Relicanth, Macargo, also has an evolution in Glaceon and a pseudo-legendary in Dragonite. Both of these veteran trainers are going to be difficult for anyone, but it really depends on your team for which is stronger. In Challenger's Cave, another post-Elite Four area, you can fight veteran trainer Julia, who has identical levels to the previous 2. Her team isn't as scary though. While most likely having higher levels than you, Wormadam and Levani aren't scary. Cloyster and Ninetales are just fine. I'd say she's the worst of the post-game giants. However, Challenger's Cave does have the best veteran trainer in Black and White, and honestly might be one of the best regular NPCs ever. Veteran trainer Sean has a full team of 6, all in their 60s, and these aren't bad Pokemon either. Gyarados, Excadrill, Crobat, Gigalith, Druddigon, and Snorlax. You could easily take this team to the Elite Four and win. I mean, the Elite Four only has teams of 4 anyway. Veteran Sean is no question the best in Black and White. Black 2 and White 2 are the games they went absolutely crazy with the veteran trainers, adding almost 3 times as many as the previous games. This time, none of them appear before you enter the 7th gym, although the veteran trainers in the city gym have very similar teams. Lucius has just 1 fracture, so you'll blow right by him. Rhonda and Jerry both have 1 fracture and a Druddigon. However, they actually have useful held items, making them slightly better than they appear. Rhonda's Druddigon holds a rocky helmet, and combined with its rough skin ability, just touching it can do some serious damage. Jerry's Druddigon is holding a Dragon Gem, which remember are the non-nerf gems, so they'll give him a 50% boost on a single move. Definitely something to watch out for. The other 2 veterans in this gym have identical teams. A Haxorus, Axew, and a Druddigon, but have different battle styles. Veteran Danae uses a rotation battle, while veteran Ron uses a triple battle. While these fights can be tricky if you're not good at them, they literally use an Axew. You'll be fine. A lot of veteran trainers hang out in Victory Road, which makes sense. Veteran trainer Abraham only has a Gigalith and a Skarmory, so he's no threat, and veteran trainer Hugo looks like he belongs in the 7th gym with his 3 dragon Pokemon. 2 of them are only middle stage, and he has a Flygon, which is pretty interesting. Imagine if he had all 3 of them fully evolved. Unfortunate. Veteran Portia and Sterling have a solid group, and depending on how beat up your team is, can be a problem. But the best of Victory Road is in the beginning. It's actually a double battle versus 2 veterans, Cecil and Claude. With a good electric type, it wouldn't be much of a problem, but without it, Mandibuzz can be really annoying to take out. Braviary hits hard as well as Archeops. at least before you activate its defeatist ability. They still aren't the best veterans in the game, but they do set the tone early in Victory Road. Lostlorn Forest has a veteran trainer, Murphy, that can almost be a bug-type Elite Four member. I mean, he has one more Pokemon than the Elite Four and has levels just below theirs. Now, one of them is technically a Larvesta, but he actually has a solid group of bugs, so he's worth noting for sure. Just like the last games, the best veteran trainers are in the post-game. Veteran Arlie and Suri are in the big and small courts and have the exact same teams as before, so they remain a top tier threat to face. Twist Mountain has 4 strong veteran trainers that all outlevel Iris by about 8 levels. Carter is a tough triple battle with a Crobat, Caracosta, and a Tauros, which again can be difficult if you're not good at those fights. Julia has a Glaceon, Bastiodon, and Rhyperior, and a Drapion. All are pretty slow though, so nothing too threatening. Chloris is another special battle, this time being a rotation battle. Gyarados, Kangaskhan, and Archeops is actually a pretty strong 3, and if you hate rotation battles like I do, this can actually be a pain. I really like veteran Zach's team with his Weavile and one of my favorite fossil Pokemon, Rampardos, but he only appears in the winter. Not a bad team though. Route 18 is the final route in the game and has crazy high levels, and some of the highest you'll see on an NPC like this. And oh boy, more rotation and triple battles. Gina is a triple battle and has 3 Pokemon at level 68. Kingdra, Skarmory, and Donphan. 3 good Pokemon, but your team will definitely be worn out by this point. Chester also has level 68s and is a rotation battle. Honestly, his team doesn't really scare me for a rotation battle, and I think they can all be picked off easily despite the high levels. Veteran Maya and Veteran Vincent each only have 1 Pokemon, but it's a level 70 pseudo-legendary, being Salamence and Tyranitar respectively. As cool as it is to see a normal everyday NPC with a level 70, they can't be considered the best with just 1 Pokemon. Unfortunately, I think this ending is a little anticlimactic because Veteran Sean returns in this game with his full team of 6. And even though it's nerfed, with his Snorlax somehow losing a level in the 2 years since Black and White, Sean is still the best veteran trainer in the game. Hard to fight 6v6, especially with the diversity on his team. Pokemon X and Y take a major step back, almost eliminating the veteran trainers entirely, having only 7 in the entire game. I mean, it makes sense considering how easy this game is overall. All of them are in or just before Victory Road. There's really not much to say about all these teams. Only one has 3 Pokemon, being veteran Gillis, and they made his team have the lowest levels of all the veterans. Still, he has 3 good Pokemon. I don't know, man, they really didn't give us a lot to work with in these games. Maybe if Ignis Talonflame was running Gale Wings, she could make things interesting, being the only one with a level 60, but I just gotta give it to Gillis here. Pokemon Sun and Moon make a slight effort in bringing the veteran trainer back to glory, but again, they aren't amazing like in Gen 5, increasing the number of them to 9 in these games. They also keep all their Pokemon in Ultra Balls, which I thought was a cool detail. A few can be fought early on and actually use the main gimmick of the game, being Z moves. On Mount Hokilani, after defeating everyone else in the area, veteran Akira will fight you and will use an Absol with Darkinium Z, powering up its Night Slash. Absol is strong for this point in the game, but just 1 isn't enough. Veteran Don stands at the end of Alola's version of Nugget Bridge and has a pretty pathetic team with just an Ekans and a Zubat. I guess if you did the entire gauntlet and then fought him, he's better, but come on now. 4 of the veteran trainers are in the vast Pony Canyon. These are right after you fight Hapu, so how they compare to her team is a good metric. Veteran Harry only has 2 Pokemon, but they work well together since Torkoal sets up Drought for Arcanine. Veteran Lynn is next and is better with a Fire, Grass, Water core. Talonflame or Starmie are fast hitters that can threaten teams, especially worn down ones. Veteran Heather has 3 workable Pokemon, and a Prankster Klefki can always be a pain to deal with. Veteran Eric is the best in the area, having 4 Pokemon that are really good for this point in the game. The fact he's also the last one you'll see means you won't be at your best most likely. Certainly one of the best veterans pre-post game. Heading to the Pony Gauntlet, we see trainers with levels exceeding the champion. Sherry with her Weavile, Trevenant, Magmortar, and Komodo is on the level of some of the Elite Four members. Not having a Z move kinda hurts though. But the best in the area and the best veteran, or should I say veterans in the entire game, are technically a different class of trainer, being the veteran duo, but it counts. I am not going to attempt to pronounce their names, but they have a full team of 6 and fight in a double battle, which is a lot tougher in my opinion. Their Pokemon aren't the scariest, but work well in doubles. They're honestly better than a lot of the challengers that you fight in the Elite Four rematches. These 2 are clearly the best veterans in the game. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are pretty similar to Sun and Moon's veteran trainers, but they do put in a bit more effort to make them impactful and switch up some of the teams from before. Like Akira from before now adds an Alolan Persian to go alongside his Absol, so it's a much tougher fight. Actually could be challenging this early in the game. Angus and Tapu Village is new and has 3 middle stage pseudo legendaries on his team, which sounds scary in theory, but the middle stages aren't that amazing at this point in the game. The changes to some of the other teams later are just swaps with Pokemon of equal power, so they won't be any better than the last games. I think veteran Heather's team is a lot better, using a Talonflame, Wailord, and Glaceon now. There are only 3 special veteran trainers in USUM that I think can take the top spot as the best. There's the best from Sun and Moon, whose names I still won't be attempting, who have a similar team, but with slightly higher levels. They lost some diversity with their typings, but I still think they're better overall, and again, being a double battle gives them a big advantage. There's a new trainer class, being the Master and the Apprentice, being a little crossover from the last video, combining an ace trainer with a veteran trainer to form a double battling duo. This is the only appearance of this class in the entire series, by the way. I wasn't sure if this could count, but I think they have a fun team and it can be quite challenging, especially since they're at the end of Victory Road in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you whited out against them before. And lastly, one of the most unique fights in the entire series. Veteran Aristo, who sits at the top of Mount Lanakila, just outside the Pokemon League, can only be fought after you've beaten every skilled trainer in the entire game. The ones you fight only after beating everyone else on the route. And you would think with that requirement, he'd have an extremely competitive team, but no. Not even a full team of 6, or even a Pokemon in the 70s. He just uses a weather setting team. Not a weather team, but just one that sets all the weather types. Like, why did they do this? Could have at least given him a Z move or something. While his levels make him somewhat strong, he doesn't hold up against the double battles. I would just call it a tie between them, depending on if you count the Master and Apprentice battle. Like the Ace trainers, the veterans no longer appear in generations 8 and 9. They technically return in BDSP, but those faithful trash remakes don't change a thing. I'm still hopeful some of these trainer classes will come back in the future. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Shout out to Fidough Gang, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.